Patchworkers, welcome. It's great to see Dion and Christian. I can't see all of you guys, but it's great to see the chat coming through. Welcome to our second YouTube live show. Christian, Dion, how are you? How are you going, Dion?
Very good, Josh. I never would have thought you'd ask a question like that. Can we do something more original in our lives than just asking, hey, how you doing? We can do better than that.
Dion, what's the most boring thing that has happened to you in the last 2 weeks?
I had a meal last night. It was a Japanese meal. It had garlic in it. I'm on a FODMAP diet, and I was very, very sick after it.
What are you supposed to do, Dion, considering everything has garlic in it?
You
just can't eat anymore.
I know I'm supposed to ask, but every time I go to a restaurant, I forget to ask, even though the ramifications are catastrophic.
Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. We'll do a bit of a chat about how the show's going to run today. But before we do, I just wanted to ask something to you, Christian.
Yes.
Specifically, how many drinks do you have with you right now?
How many drinks do I have?
Because at the last live show, after I watched it back and saw some of the comments, there was a lot of chatter about the number of drinks you had and you consumed.
There's something, I don't understand what it is. The moment that I get excited or nervous, I just dehydrate. I'm like a sultana. In front of me at the that's what happens to grapes when they get excited, by the way. They turn into sultanas.
That's how they do them at the farm. There's just exciting things going on.
I have a beer. I have a soda stream.
So glad you asked this question, Josh. This is great.
Bottle of water.
What are you doing?
And I also have a tea.
That's
and
mental,
I also have a teapot for when I need to replenish my tea.
Hang on, Josh. You didn't when you asked Christian this question. Surely you didn't know he'd have 6 different receptacles on his desk.
I thought he'd have like a beer and a water.
I have a glass just in case I need to pour something out.
And so, when are you deciding to switch between the drinks?
You know what? I just do it instinctively. Okay. I let it come out. It's like intuitive dancing,
like a sultana.
He's such a feeler, isn't he? He's such a beautiful feeler.
Anyway, so today's show, guys, pretty much very similar to the last live show we did. So we're doing a normal show, chatting through that. Make sure you're checking our comments in YouTube throughout as we go. It's always great to see that chat coming in. So apologies for last week. We just had some illness amongst the group. We're all fine. We just couldn't really do the show. So apologies about that. Make sure if you want to keep catching up with these, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Today as well, using the hashtag Patchwork Live. It's good we always love seeing you guys set up. We had a few good photos come through last time of people, some guys were sitting out on their back porch on the phone, some were in their living room with their feet up, that kind of stuff. It was really exciting to see. And I think we've actually got one that's just come in, a really quite a special one, which we're very impressed with. So
yes, look at that. Check it out.
And that's live from the MCG. So make sure you see that hashtag Patchwork Live so we can check that out. The other thing, we'll be giving away a mug later in the show, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, some exciting news we'll go through in a bit more detail afterwards. But just the future of Patchwork, and as we're going on, it'll be pretty much the same. So you'll be getting those fortnightly episodes into your RSS feed, but we're going to be live streaming them on Thursday nights every fortnight. So Thursday
huge.
Fortnight, 8 p.m. If you want to tune in and watch them live, you'll be able to do that. Otherwise, as normal in your RSS feed.
Do you like how I just reacted like that was the first time that I've heard that we're going to be streaming our podcast live? I was just like, shit, we're doing this. Why didn't you guys tell me?
The very excited reaction. I can just imagine all the seagulls flying off the ground at the MCG.
Yeah, but you know what? In the chat, we've got some people that are just going, "Oh, great MCG gag. That's really, really great. Awesome." No, we're live streaming our podcast every second week. This is awesome, guys.
So stay tuned for that. Should be a lot of fun going forward. But for today, I think we're probably ready to go. If you want to, we'll jump
actually,
in.
You know what? One more thing we've got for patrons. Josh, I don't know if I just tuned out for a second, but for patrons, what we've got, if you sign up to be a patron, we're going to be doing a monthly Zoom meeting with patrons. So it'll be hopefully 100 of you crammed in there, hopefully more, where we'll get to unmute you. You'll get to raise your hand. We'll be doing a Zoom call. So if you'd like to sign up to Patreon, please do. Patreon.com/welcome to Patchwork. But you'll still get your bonus patch as well that you get in every off week.
Yes, so patrons will get a bonus episode in the off week and the monthly Zoom call. Everyone else just gets the wonderful fortnightly episode. With that said, let's start the episode.
Do you need to correct a very obvious typo in a text message? If questions like this have crossed your mind, then you're in good company. Today we'll be taking a closer look at some of the daily habits and social conventions that make up the monotony of life. Let's get excited about going to the supermarket because we have nothing else going on. Grab your knitting needles and a blanket because it's time for three old friends to sit around and sew a new patch to their quilt of friendship. So join me, Dion, in my bedroom with Christian.
Welcome to Patchwork.
Josh.
Welcome to Patchwork.
And all of you wonderful people on YouTube Live.
Now, before we get started, Dion, I wanted to pull you up. So I witnessed, I don't think you know that I was online, but I witnessed a message come through from you in our messenger thread. And I very quickly saw you edit the message. Now, you edited a typographical error, but you also edited the contents of the message. Now, for me, I saw the original message and I was like, that's very clear. But then I saw you change it and I go, sure, a little bit clearer, but I understood the first message. Do you have a tendency to edit your text message? Do you like them to be perfect? How do you construct them? What's happening in your head when you're editing that message?
So for the first thing I'd like to point out is that this messaging platform we use is called Telegram. And Telegram, you can go in and you can edit the message. It's like having an online mechanical pencil or a pacer. And we've talked about that on a previous patch where you can go and you can erase stuff and you can edit it and it's much less messy. But yeah, in Telegram.
What's a mechanical pencil? Is that something a rubber rides?
Yeah, it requires you to actually turn the but anyway, so yeah, you're right, Christian. Like when I'm writing a text message to a friend, I'm very, very hot on the send button. I don't know why. I'm writing it out, I click send, and then it's like writing out, click send, think later. And I don't know why I do it. Yeah.
You don't proofread?
Nah. I really need to proofread. I really, really do. And do you know what I think it is? I reckon it's because when I was at school, when I was at uni, my dad used to always love like editing and he used to always read over my essays that I wrote. And so I reckon that I just need to be able to pass these text messages through my dad and then onto you guys.
Send them for review, 2 rounds of review, send them back. They got markings over the top of them.
This message is very poor, Dion. You got to pee. It's just a bath.
But I remember like as kind of, I imagine like a lot of us people with these high anxiety levels, you know, probably high achievers at school, you know, because you're so super obsessed with the quality of things that you're putting out. Dion, I'm so surprised that you just let your fingers fly in that instance. Like, don't you have this idea of it's the difference between a good grade and a bad grade? What will people think of me if I send this out and it looks a bit messy?
Yeah, so that's the thing as well. So if you're using a platform where you can't edit, but you kind of have to do the asterisks and then underneath you need to correct it. I'm always doing the asterisks, and I reckon it's for 2 major reasons, because I don't want to look careless and I don't want people to think I'm an idiot as well.
Just with the asterisk, Dion, do you do the asterisk and just the word you stuffed up? Because what I do, I tend to do a bit of context, because sometimes if it's a long message, right, and you stuffed up one word, sometimes like, I was in the middle, they're not going to really understand where that is. So you put like a bit of a sentence around it so they go, oh, that's what he meant.
Yeah, great. It's like, yeah, that's so great. It's like it's that 20, like that 2-second judgment call where you're like, do I have to write the whole thing out? I don't write the whole thing out. I make them do the work. Christian.
I don't understand where the asterisk came from. How has that formed part of the social parlance that we have of messaging? Because I don't remember that ever being clear cut. I remember having like the word sick, you know, sick, S-I-C.
Oh, S-I-C. Like an editor's notes.
Thorpe was obsessed with grammar, apparently. Everything was fully sick.
I just imagine that's what Dion's dad's writing. He reads Dion's text messages, puts little editor's notes in. No, he spelt that wrong on purpose, guys. It was a joke.
Christian, is it the actual symbol you have a problem with? Like, can you think of a symbol that you would prefer?
I have no issue with the use of the asterisk. I just don't know where it came from, right? Because
surely it's like a footnote, right?
Oh, yeah. Someone's saying, Bridget's saying it comes from asterisk comes from references. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So dumb.
So maybe now the next level of that is we need to provide sources and references for claims made in a text message.
What about that? Why can't we have a footnotes built into WhatsApp? Imagine that.
what you do then, right? You'd go, oh man, Janet was so drunk on Saturday night with a little one, and then you take a link to the photo album of how drunk she was.
That's great. What's
Hey,
that?
look, he provided his sources, guys. It's got to be true.
That'd be so funny. The only messaging. And what else would you have with what other features could you build in? Could you a compare document feature perhaps in WhatsApp? You could turn it into a full-blown word editor.
Great, yeah.
Or it's like it does an automatic search. So one of the things in our group thread is that it's been going for years, right? And so some of the same jokes are made. And what's become a habit now in our group thread is people will do a search of the thread to see if someone said the joke before. If we could automate that, and so it's like inbuilt, almost like a university checking your essay if it's been written somewhere else.
Plagiarism check?
Yeah, it's a plagiarism check. No, you've done this joke before.
Won't allow you to send it.
Yeah.
No, it's a callback. Let me send it off.
Yeah, the worst thing is when you get picked up on it, isn't it? Like when you've made a joke in a group thread of friends, you get picked up on it. It's like, I didn't mean it. Like it's not, I really didn't mean to,
it came from a good place.
Yeah, exactly. It all comes from a good place.
I think when I'm sending a text, I am definitely hyper observant about the grammar and to the point, Dion, that I think we've mentioned before on the podcast, you hate that I end every text with a full stop. I don't know why that grinds your gears so much, but
yeah, it's interesting. And I hate when Josh uses commas as well. So I'm thinking the
so
problem
big
might be with me.
now. My love affair with commas has grown exponentially in like the last year or so.
Josh, talk about why.
I'm all about using it how the reader should read it and where they should put breathy pauses in the sentence.
So you're not using a comma in the way a comma's meant to be made. Rather, you're saying take a breath.
I'm using
you're about
it correctly.
To digest something.
And also I'm using it correctly and also to inform the reader of how they should be reading the sentence a bit more obviously.
I really like when Josh talks about this stuff. Like you get so determined and steadfast when you're like you've got such conviction with the comma. I've never seen such conviction with a comma.
But it's weird because I've noticed it. I was like, I'm using commas way more than I ever used to, and it feels great.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So when Josh gets steadfast, if he hears something like, "Yeah, I use hyphens instead of commas," how do you? Disgusting. Sick.
I really like what Amanda just said. Amanda just asked, what are your feelings about semicolons? I think that's a great question.
They, to me, are the most difficult piece of punctuation to use.
But it's difficult for me because you feel so self-conscious using them. Do you know what I mean? You feel really, really self-conscious using semicolons.
When you colon or a semicolon?
Oh, I don't really know the difference. What's the difference?
It's the one with the dot and the comma, right? That's a semicolon.
Yeah, I think so.
But the thing with that.
Yes, Aaron, if I may respond to Aaron Block. Yes, the correct use of a comma, of course, but Josh is completely filling all of his messages. My worry was that Josh was, instead of saying, this is a natural point to end the sentence, rather he was letting a sentence go on via the use of commas. You're using commas to transport the person through the narrative rather than simply just cutting the saying short.
That's right. My messages are a bit of a journey. You've got to take the reader on them,
I love this. Keep up the great punctuation in the chat, by the way, everyone. You're doing really well. We're getting some amazing feedback here. Elliot says a punctuation mark indicating a pause typically between two main clauses. Now, Elliot, if you're attempting to pass that as your own definition, that is a copy and paste job right there, I'm sure.
So, Mike, just to go back to the semicolon for a moment. So, I think the thing is when you're using that, because not many people know how to use it correctly, you got to be damn sure you're using it right. Every time you're thinking about, it's like a conjoined clause and very difficult. I'm very wary to use it.
I think one of the earmarks of a very close friendship is that you can let your guard down, right, when you're sending text messages. So I know that I have probably very few friends that I'm shooting messages off without really checking them, and I'm not. Yeah. Just the trigger.
As your phone's going back in your pocket, you just hit the send.
But I feel like that's a real nice relationship to have with someone, in this idea that you don't have to, because sending a message, it's part of like the projection of yourself, right? Like I want to come across as, capital letters. Like I'll have capital letters in my messages and correct them where capitals when they're not there.
I just love in the chat we're seeing here. I just love, it's incredible the love we're having we're getting for semicolons. Like I've never seen it before. It's kind of like it's really quite overwhelming, and there's a lot of stories, a lot of people pouring their hearts out here. It's quite beautiful to see.
So just to go back to the original point, Christian, with you do you go back to edit? You don't go back to edit.
Sorry, just looking at Mark's comment on screen there. I once deleted a Reddit account over the roasting I received for my semicolon use. I'm now terrified of using them.
Josh,
great.
no, I won't edit because, well, very rarely will I edit because honestly, I do a couple of rounds of feedback. Revision. So I will go through it a few times because it's not only about correcting the typographical errors. It's also about making sure that the message flows and that you've put maybe a little bit of a gag in there. You've disarmed them at the start, because especially now that you can send text messages and other types of messages on the computer, they're starting to evolve into almost emails.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. It's emails with emojis.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Dion, I have a bone to pick with you, Dion. So my bone to pick, Dion, is that in every one of our social media posts,
here we go,
you are obsessed with using emojis, and you won't let me post anything unless it has an emoji at the start. Explain why.
Okay, do you want me to explain why emojis exist, or do you want me to explain why I want you to use them on our social media?
No. Emojis, I can completely understand why they exist.
Oh, why? Okay, let's ask a question for the question. Why do they exist then? Why do they exist? If not for social media, they exist just for human-to-human conversation.
Playful, and it conveys an emotion through a simple image, right? Yep. Why, if I have the space for, let's say, 160 characters, do I need to also include an emoji of an aeroplane taking off?
Because isn't social media just a piece of shit? And isn't it just getting people's attention nowadays is impossible. And ultimately people need shiny lights, they need pictures, they need things happening, and it hopefully separates our posts from the masses posts.
Can we just in the chat, hang on quickly, while we're talking about this, can we in the chat thumbs up if you like the emojis in social posts, thumbs down if you do not like emojis.
No, not thumbs down, just write no.
Also, just a quick reminder for everyone that's in the chat, if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'd absolutely love that. So hit that subscribe button. But yeah, I think that, Christian, it's something that I'm also trying to appeal to the young'uns as well. Just thinking that, getting on a little bit in my age, the kids are still using emojis. We should too. But yeah, I get the criticism, Christian, but bad luck. It's common practice. It's common practice amongst marketers as well. Just talk to them. Trust me.
So just to round out the original point about going back, editing messages, I generally feel like a fool if I've put a mistake in the message. So I do like the reread before I hit send. Sometimes when I don't, I feel like an absolute fool, and I will always go back and correct when I notice the error.
Yeah, Dion, you got to start revising. You have to start revising your messages.
I agree. On my last phone, it was an Android phone. There was an app that I could install that you hit send. Oh my God. Overwhelming.
Wow.
Check it out. That's great. But there was an app that you could hit send, and it was a delay on the enter. So you could hit it and then you could cancel it. You could cancel a sending. Anyway, I just need to take way more time. And Christian, what's your deal now?
Can I just say, if what I want to end on is I would be completely for using these emojis if that little character that we're seeing on the screen there, if that guy existed, I'm all up for emojis because that's incredibly cute. You know the little one that's doing the thing with his arms on the side and then giving the thumbs up? It looks like a little Japanese penguin type character.
Well, I love that everyone's gotten to the emojis. It's definitely made it more colourful. Of course, you can watch this stream on replay and you can actually watch the chat as well. So those watching this, at a later stage, you'll be able to see all of this. I think it's time for Hey Team now. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. So basically, we have it's a spin-off from the Roibus Challenge, and a lot of you will have heard the Roibus Challenge in a previous episode, and it's basically where we write into companies seeking consumer justice. And High Team is where we write in to anything and anyone that we want to with the title High Team. So, Christian, who have you emailed this week?
Hi, team. Hi, wireless in-ear headphones team.
Oh, hang on. It looks like before we crack into this, Christian, we need to take a break for 30 seconds to fix up some techie things. So we're actually going to be back in 30 seconds. Can you all please post an emoji? You know that emoji of that guy or the girl going like that? And we'll be back in 30 seconds. Hold off.
Go down.
All right, we're back. We hope you're all still there, but we were just about to play High Team. Christian, I was going to ask you, who did you email this week in High Team?
Thanks, Leon. Hi, wireless in-ear headphones team. I appreciate your noise-cancelling functionality, but what I don't appreciate is how that coincides with the amplification of my heartbeat and every sound my mouth makes. I want to hear absolutely nothing. Muted regards, Christian.
Great. And Josh,
Dion?
who did you... Oh, no, I was going to throw to Josh, actually. Josh, who did you email this week? No
Sure.
problem.
Where are we? Where's my keyboard? There it is.
I hope the keyboard...
Hi, telephone call queuing system team. You should all be offering the callback. How is that not standard? Completely cueless regards, Josh. And Dion.
All right. Hi, Egg Farm team. When I need to buy a dozen eggs, I have no idea how to make a decision re what size eggs I should be buying. 650, 700, 750 grams. Jumbo. Please just put a range of different sized eggs in there so I can get them for different purposes throughout the week. Cracked regards, Dion.
Now, guys, I was having a phone call with someone the other week, and you know how sometimes when you're having a phone call, sometimes it drops out. So the person I was talking with, it started to drop out, and they kept trying to talk, and I couldn't get through, and they weren't really listening. They were powering through. So I ended up hanging up and having to call them back. And I was wondering, there have been times in the past, though, where I actually haven't called them back. So, for instance, if we've had a decent conversation and it's legitimately sometimes been like, oh, no, I kind of said everything we needed to say in the conversation. Like, I don't feel this need to always have to call back when the phone call drops out. If it's at the point that it's almost like the dropout was at a good time. It was like, we've had a good chat here. We didn't need a big goodbye or anything. It was kind of nice just to have that happen.
Yeah, I think it's always really tough when a phone call drops. You're kind of like, well, what do I do? Do I just leave it go? Do I call back straight away? Do I, like, when I get back into the phone call, what's my game? Like, it's tough.
100%. I think that if Josh, you're receiving the call and it drops out, the onus is on the person who has initiated the call to call you back, right? Because they must have called for a particular reason. And if they think that reason has been dismissed, they've satisfied the call, they're satisfied with the call, then they can message you and say, that's probably enough. But I don't think you can make the decision for them.
I think who from my perspective, when I'm on the call, I kind of disregard who's doing what, and I just make the decision for myself based on how I'm feeling with the status of the call.
No, but you can't just think of yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
it's like, have they? No, or you can, yeah. But you got to think, have they finished what they wanted to say? But you're like, no, I think we're done here. So what do you do?
Yeah.
Do you send a follow-up text message? Oh, there you go. Bridget says, I sent a follow-up text saying you feel everything's been covered.
No, but
that's great.
But then you get the bullshit moment when you're in the middle of sending that text and you get a call back from the other person.
Yeah.
Which is shocking because you're like, I was already three quarters of the way through my text. I was already
read before I sent it.
What equator are you on? No, I think it's I think it's that you really want to consider. I'm at odds with Josh's position because you want to consider the other person's position. You want to go, well, hang on. Am I calling back? Do I need to text message? So for me, what I do is if the call drops, I will. It's that moment in time, that few seconds where you have to work out, hang on, I know this person hopefully well. What's their psychology? What are they going to do? Are they going to call me back? Are they waiting for me? Am I the dominant one in this relationship? Is there such a thing as dominance?
Yeah, wow.
And in the time of you having those thoughts and conversations, they've already called back.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, isn't it the absolute worst when you both call? That's why you need to have an agreement that the person who has called is the person who calls back in a dropout. But Josh, I am very interested to see how you handle yourself when a call is dropping out. Considering you are somewhat desperate to get off every single phone call you're on, I want to emulate a phone call dropping out for you, and I want to hear how you react.
Okay. This is great. You to give me a call?
Sure. Where's my phone? There you go.
Oh, it's Christian. I don't want to take
I hope it's on his voicemail.
Hello?
Hey, Josh. Just wanted to give you a quick buzz to talk about a fake meat.
We're meeting somewhere that's fake, or like the edible thing meat?
The edible thing. Happy to meet you later. That's still on. But I just wanted to talk quickly about
fake meat. Real meeting, fake meat.
Real meeting to discuss fake meat. But I'm just going to preface it now. My favorite thing, the availability of fake meat. What you can actually do now.
Sorry, Christian, you're dropping out a bit.
Supermarket.
Christian, hang on. Whoa. Stop. I can't. So repeat it.
Sorry, what?
I can't hear you. I can't really hear you. You keep dropping out.
You can't hear me. Is that better?
Yeah. Go.
That's
go
way
now.
better?
Yeah, go now.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying, if you actually go to the supermarket now, the best thing about the section for like vegetarians and
no, I can't.
There's like a whole array of like.
No. Go back. I can't hear you. Okay. I'm hanging up. Christian, I'll call you back. I'm hanging up. Bye.
Oh, God, I enjoy that so much. It's so much fun being on the outside. Being on the inside, it's hell. Being on the outside's amazing.
And you know the difference here, right? So we can see each other, but when it's just the audio and they're not getting can't hear you at all, isn't that just the worst? It's like stop and go back. And then it's like, oh, how much did you hear? How far back in the conversation am I expected to go now?
That's why I want on the return conversation, I want there to be just efficiency, right? You just want to I don't want to discuss why the call dropped out. I don't want to discuss who's at fault, how low your battery is, whether it's that part of the house that normally drops out.
But that's what happens, right? The person who drops out, they're always like, I think this should be better now. I've gone outside. Or they give you a reason, or, I should be better now.
Just shut up. And all I want to hear is, what was the last, if I'm the person speaking, what was the last thing you heard?
You want a little previously on.
Do you know,
previously in this conversation.
But But you know what you should do? What about like counting? Like I reckon if you're counting, you've got, can you hear me counting sequentially from 1 to 10? That's a good way of doing it, isn't it? But you go, so Sam says, I want to hear more about, what was that? I want to hear more about Christian's opinions on fake meat.
But dude, I like your number thing. So, or maybe it's like a quick brown fox kind of deal where it's like, or you do the numbers right and you go, sorry, I didn't catch 3, 4, or 5, but 7 through 10 sounded great.
Does that mean that you need to change your speech pattern so that at a 3, 4, 5, you go silent and then continue at the 6, 7, 8?
Yeah. If you've got a really regular dropout, you just do natural pauses.
Okay, Josh, I'll tell you about my thoughts on fake meat. My favorite thing about fake meat is that it's available for vegetarians and vegans now, and we can make it be like a real meat subsidy, and it makes me feel good. Okay, that's all I could get.
Wow, what a considerate call dropping out. But I think what I will tend to do though, I probably will jump straight to the text message. But again, it's normally if we've chatted for a bit and I feel there's been enough. But I think jumping to the message is a good jump in point. And normally it'll be like, I don't think we need to continue this call.
Yeah. So that's what, but what I love doing is that if you do need to call that person back, and if you do want to call them back, the call's dropped, call them up, they answer the phone, straight back into it. Don't even reference it. And that's exactly what Joel said. Joel said, just bloody launch back in. Couldn't agree more. Just launch back in. Just go. And literally, I would love if everyone just continued the next sentence that they're about to say, the substantive part of the conversation.
What about, sorry, go Christian.
I was just, well, do you want to add to that, Josh?
Oh, I was gonna start talking about some text messages.
Yeah, go for it.
So sometimes when you get into back and forth with some text messages, and you've got a legitimate conversation that could kind of almost be like a phone call, are you allowed to just stop replying, or do you have to say like, oh hey, gotta go, we'll be back later, or do you just drop off the face of the planet?
Oh, that's really interesting. I mean, it depends. So, Josh, are you in that situation? Do you know where the other person is? Like, are they at home, or it's kind of like you don't know the circumstances, right?
No.
Usually, you don't.
It's just sometimes you get lucky and a friend starts replying instantly, and you can have a bit of a chat.
Oh, and how good is it when a friend? But it puts a lot of pressure on you because if they reply instantly, you know that you need to. They know you're there. Yeah, they know you're there.
It's the worst. It's so bad. I hate that because the pressure mounts that you have to engage. The worst is if they ask a question. So something very simple. What time are you going to get there tonight? And you might respond and be like, 7:30. And then they follow up with, oh yeah, and how's the day been? And you're like, you don't lead me to believe that this is a simple text exchange and then send a follow-up. It's unfair. I'm not prepared to be, and then you look like an asshole if you're in the middle of something or just can't be bothered.
And how about the pressure when you start that reply and they're seeing Josh typing? And you're like, I've got to get this out, and it can't be a 2-word thing. It's got to be long now.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to our first point of conversation. That's why it takes me so long to write back to a message, because I'm there rereading everything 1,000 times. So it started as, what time are you getting there tonight? Ends up a 15, 20-minute piece of my day.
But Christian, if you weren't so obsessed with your punctuation and full stops, you'd probably be able to pump out messages quicker than you do. It's that you craft it. Just if you like, just like me, just bang on your keyboard, just hit enter, and just fix it up later.
But I'm
going to go onto Upwork and delegate off my text messages responding.
But are you guys, if you're in those back and forth chats, will you just stop responding? Say, someone else comes into the room and starts talking to you, and you just put your phone down, or do you jump in and go, oh hey, I can't, I'll be back later or something?
Yeah, like I remember the good old days of MSN, and you could respond with a BRB or a GTG, which was great because a GTG was just easy to explain, like mum's calling or whatever it might be. Yeah. They understood the context. But now you have full control of your life. You're autonomous. I guess the best you can do is a kind of, I've got dinner preparing. Actually, you can be honest, right?
Of course you can be honest, Christian. You can be honest in any part of your life.
Yeah, the dinner's cutting up itself. It's jumping in the oven soon.
Josh, you use a got to go. You've used that.
What, 15 years ago?
No. Oh, come on, mate. I reckon you've used it in the last 2 months.
No way. GTG?
Absolutely, you've used GTG for sure.
No, I use GG.
Just Governor General.
QB, Quentin Bryce. No, but I think you can't give the reason because half the time the reason is I can't be bothered. So you just like, I don't really feel like having a back and forth. I think I will just stop and get back to it because it's never that important, right? If it's a message, it's never that important. It's got to elevate and escalate to a call if it needs immediate attention.
Yeah. The other thing is that like when you're trying to wind down the conversation, you're chatting to someone and you're not really friends with them, they're acquaintance or something, you're trying to wind it down, they're wanting to keep it going. It's about being really friendly but short. And I don't know, it's a tough thing to wind down a conversation you don't want to go on.
Yeah, your responses get a bit shorter, a bit less detailed, just to sort of inch them along and go, we're not really having a conversation. I'm just responding.
And you let that silence sit there. You let it really ruminate. Let them feel the silence.
Thank you to Mark in the chat that wrote M32 Cheltenham WBU.
All right, I think we should move on.
Yeah.
So, Dion and Josh, I was scrolling through Instagram right now, and I'm just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I scrolled so far that I got to the account of Bill Gates at Golden Gates time. Now, it looks like it's a picture of Bill Gates lying in a hospital bed and giving the camera the thumbs up. And the caption reads, "Turns out the Matrix is just a load of baloney. You can't plug yourself into a computer. Well, at least not through your asshole." Hashtag MS PowerPoint in my bottom. Hashtag not very excellent. Dion, you were also scrolling through Instagram, right?
Yeah, I was scrolling. I got right to the bottom and I was just didn't think there's anything left. And then I saw a teenage picture of Russian leader Mikhail Gorbachev and who goes by the handle, it's Mikhail, not Michael. And the picture of him is with a paintbrush in his hand, and the caption reads, "Just finished painting a red feature wall in my new house. Got some paint on my forehead, but should wash out fine." And Josh, you were scrolling through Instagram as well.
Yeah, I was scrolling. Got right to the bottom, right to the bottom, and ended up on the account of Marco Polo at Silk Road Warrior.
Great.
And the image he had was a table covered in piles of beautiful coloured spices. And the caption read, "This spice market is incredible. It's absolutely massive. I keep losing my friends, though. They keep shouting my first name and I respond with my surname. Found each other in no time. Yeah. Hashtag blind Venetian."
And now it's time for Oh Wow of the Week.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. The King of Hearts.
That's not meant to happen.
The King of Hearts is the only king without a mustache in a standard card deck.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful.
So the other day, I was obviously in isolation. I was at home and I had very little to do. And I sort of, my girlfriend has so rightly been on my back about cabling. I look after all the electronics in the house. I'm basically an electrician without a degree and without being able to do anything that an electrician does. But she's on my back about it because there's cables everywhere. And I realized that even though a few months ago I had previously bought a power board or a couple of different power boards, a couple of different double adapters, I was, removing appliances from power boards to make room for other appliances. And it was driving me absolutely nuts. So the TV, we've got a big power board full up and, I needed to plug in Josh, you lent me a Nintendo Wii, needed to plug that in and needed to remove the router and the TV and everything.
What have you got on your TV? Let me go. I'll try and guess, right? You got your TV. Yep. Some sort of speakers.
Yep.
Yep. You've got it sounds like your router's there as well, the center of the house.
Got an Apple TV.
Apple TV, yeah, and maybe a game console now. It really adds up behind the TV.
It does. It adds up heaps, and it gets incredibly crowded. And I on a side note, I'm really wanting to see the day where everything is wireless. But anyway, that day we won't have a podcast.
You want to see wireless power?
I want to see wireless power. I want to see wireless everything. It'd be incredible. Not going to happen?
I reckon. See, I've thought this for a few years that I've had an invention that I reckon would change power outlets, not dramatically, but it would be an improvement, right?
Are you sure you want to tell everyone?
You haven't got around to it yet, but it's good. It's a good idea.
I've just been a bit busy with the podcast is all, but it's next on the list. What I reckon is that the power outlet in the wall, you can actually detach it and pull it out so it has an inbuilt extension cable. And then you can do that. Yeah, I know, Dion.
I like it.
Isn't it great?
I like it. It's great. Josh, you don't like it?
It's got a little button like a vacuum cord thing.
Yeah.
You press it, it goes it sucks back in.
And it removes the need for extension cables.
That's actually not bad.
That's a great idea.
Great. But
So
brilliant. It came about because I'm just fucking sick of houses with 2 outlets in a room.
Yeah.
Put 50. Put them all up the walls.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
My old bedroom, literally 1 PowerPoint, 2 sockets.
No.
And so I had it under, because the way I had the room configured, it was over by my bed. I had to run an extension cord all the way around the room to the other side where my computer was. Had like 2 power boards coming off that because I got so much stuff to plug in. And then all the other stuff that's plugged in my desk. I was like, how do you have one power outlet in a whole house? And maybe this is from when the house was built in Victorian era times. They didn't think we would have computers.
That's what it is,
that's
right?
That's a good point. That'd be absolutely a good point. In Victorian times, what would they have been thinking? They would have even been thinking electric kettle. What would it have been? What would it have been? Heater?
Yeah.
What else?
Heater,
Lamp,
heater,
right?
and dog.
Heater, lamp, and dog.
Plug the dog in. We're going to have robotic dogs in the future, guys. Trust me.
That sounds like
We're going to need a lot of PowerPoints in this house.
Sounds like a great cafe name, Heater, Lamp, and Dog.
Or it's like a Bed Bath & Beyond type store.
That's all I
Or your house furnishing. It's pet goods and all your house furnishings.
But Josh, do you ever worry? Like I've got the same issue in my room. I've got for an entire bedroom 2 outlets, right?
Yeah.
And I've just absolutely maxed out on the number of power boards attached. Like I've got power boards that are feeding off additional power boards that then feed off an additional power board. Do you just keep going until the house explodes? Like what's the point that you stop?
I feel very, very uncomfortable having a power board coming off a power board. I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah.
I always like to have the split as early as possible. So if I've got a power board, I really don't want to put a double adapter on the power board. I want to put the double adapter into the wall and then have a power board coming off that.
Can I just pick up on one thing that Alana said? We're getting some comments flooding through. Alana says the absolute first thing I check when doing an open inspection for my rentals is I log them in a spreadsheet. How amazing is that?
Right.
That is crazy. The number one thing I do when I'm doing an inspection, by the way, is if it's got a dishwasher. Otherwise, I'm not taking a house. But also, Mark says, surely Dion the electrician is gravely concerned at Josh's power boards drawing too much current. Yeah, I mean, that's something as an electrician, it's something we should chat about.
The power board I've got under my desk now, which I quite like, I think it's a 6 socket. It's a 6 socket with a couple of USBs on it. Ooh. And the best thing about 6 is great to start with, but how about this? 2 of them, should be the whole thing, but 2 of them, extra spacing between them.
Oh, perfect.
Just have it. If I'm using a power board, I'm happy for it to be literally half a meter long. It is fine. Like seriously, it's just going to go under my desk, make it half a meter, and I can plug it in. Because there's always that one stupid thing that has a massive power brick of it that you can't plug anything else in next to it.
Hey Josh, can I ask you? You said that six power points and 2 USB plugs.
Yes.
What's the reliability of those USB plugs? Because aren't USB plugs very variable? Some of them are most of them are shocking.
I hate that you have such an issue with this, Dion. So Dion, for everyone out there, Dion taught me about the difference in USBs.
Yes.
Apparently, some of them are bad, some of them are good.
Oh yeah, that was the lesson, was it? Oh,
no,
God.
you said something about, because you're an electrician, something about amperage, correct? The ohms.
Amperage.
It's
I don't
nearly-
know.
Oh no, I've lost it.
This mechanical dog takes a lot of amperage.
2.4 amperages. Yeah, but I remember that you said, no, that's a shit one. Like, why don't you use a better one to charge faster? For me, it's just a case of if it's charging, awesome.
No,
right?
that's so dumb, Josh. We're not even going to bring in we're bringing the apprentice here. Bring in the electrician's apprentice. Josh, what do you think of this? What do you think of this idea? Like, it's good knowledge to have that you know that the USB output is very, very different from USB plug to USB plug, right?
Yes, and you get a cheap, crappy one, and it will charge your phone at a snail's pace. Or you get a good one, or just your main one that your phone comes with that plugs into the wall. That charges so much better than those standalone USBs generally.
But tell me this, if you have a good charging routine where you may have a charger by your bed, and then you know the next time I generally need to charge is probably the next time I go to sleep. So why does it matter if it charges slowly? If when you wake up, it's 100%?
So that charging
device.
But that charging in your bed, are you only using it to charge while sleeping? Is it just a night charger, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Why would I have to charge it at any other time?
How many chargers do you have in your room right now? How many places can you charge your phone? As much as you have receptacles of fucking liquids in your in your desk?
I have seen some people getting upset that I don't have coffee with me.
Everyone's still talking about all your drinks, mate.
Yeah, I know.
And I think Chris Neo before said he's very worried about the number of electrical appliances with all your liquid in the room.
I'll tell you what, with the setup that I've got in terms of power boards, knock a glass over, I've lost almost everything. I've lost my entire work from home setup.
Oh man.
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
unbelievable.
precarious.
And when you hear that someone spilt like a liquid on their computer, it's kind of like you just go, "Oh, you poor bloody thing." You know, you poor thing. I hope you live near a rice field.
Just to go back to using the power boards and double adapters, how comfortable, you're obviously very comfortable daisy chaining like that, Christian. How comfortable are you, Dion? Do you have a process to daisy chaining power boards, double adapters?
Oh, that's such a good point. I will never daisy chain two power boards, but I'm quite happy to have a power board and then a double adapter. Now, this brings us into an even more interesting part of the discussion, which is, what's your favorite double adapter? There's a few out there.
No, we're not talking about
They're
our
on
favorite
angles,
double
they're
adapters.
straight.
The side-by-side is way better than the front angle one. I hate that one.
Front angle
Come
one
on,
can come in
it's
handy.
It's an Australian national treasure.
It
looks like a Dorito.
I would love if that was Australian. I wouldn't, it
It's
wouldn't
up
bloody
there.
surprise me. Cochlear
It's up-
implant and the...
It's up there with the Don Farlap, the angle double adapter.
Haven't you seen the outline of the Made in Australia logo? It's the same shape. But I don't understand what your issues are with me daisy chaining power boards. Surely the house will tell me if that's an issue, right?
Oh, man. I think either the house will or someone in the chat.
Yeah. But honestly, like, what's the worst that could happen? It trips,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and fry some of your devices maybe.
Yeah, fries my devices.
I love when Christians
I
put
worry
on
about what I plug in, right? Like if I'm just got some bullshit stuff I don't really care about, go for it. But when there's like proper computers and important things, I'm a bit more careful with what actually goes into this power board.
You'll pay for it, Christian. One day you will fry something. It'll be a shallow fry, but it'll be a fry nonetheless.
30 years down, haven't fried a single thing.
Yeah, well, you're an idiot then.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on.
Okay.
So it's Josh, this is you.
Yes, it is. It is me. So we're going to take a quick little 5-minute break now, guys. We will be giving away a mug for Really Good. So make sure you get your Really Goods in over the break, and we'll be doing those after the break. We'll be coming back, doing Really Goods, doing the patches, giving away the mug, and then we're going to jump into the People's Patch. So also in the break, give us your talking points. If you've got stuff you want us to chat about or maybe some follow-up from the episode, chuck them in the chat in the break. And also during the People's Patch, we'll be checking it throughout. We'll get stuck in again.
Yeah, and just a shout out to Courtney, who's lovingly become a Patreon. That's so awesome of you, Courtney.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's really, really lovely of you. Obviously, we do this for free. We rely on all of you. So if you want to sign up to be a Patreon, please do if you like our content. But yeah, I think we'll be back in 5 minutes. So in the chat, write down your really goods, write down your things you want us to discuss. Back in 5 and back in 5 with our really good and people's patch. See you soon.
Hey everyone, welcome back. And now it's time for Really Good.
Really, really good. You know what's really, really good? Really, really good. You know what's really, really good?
Do you know what's really good? Eating carbohydrates for almost every meal because it would be too risky going shopping for fresh produce.
Really good.
Really good.
Do you know what's really good? When you can get packages delivered directly to your home.
Oh,
Really
good. Do you know what's really good? Going to a Zoom dance party and not having to talk to anyone.
Really good.
We do love hearing your really goods, guys. And obviously, you can still send them in at any time, but also during the show now. It's great. And the really good for this week and the winner of the mug is Alana Hughes, who says, you know what's really good? When you decide to bring in your washing on a whim and 5 minutes later, it starts pouring with rain.
Really good. Really good.
Really good.
Oh, look, thank you so much for listening to Welcome to Patchwork for our second YouTube live stream. We're going to have the People's Patch in a minute, but before we do, we get into our patches. And thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'll have another half hour of the People's Patch. But I'll throw to you, Christian. What patch did you sew into your quilt this week?
Thank you very much, Dion. This week, I sewed into my patch Ian Thorpe in his new role as editor of the new electricity-centric magazine Lamp Heater and Electric Dog. And Dion, what did you sew into your patch this week?
My patch this week is my dad editing an essay I've written on the father of modern powerboard daisy chaining, written by Mikhail Gorbachev. And Josh, what patch did you sew into our quilt this week?
My patch this week was Christian, who's run out of extension cables, so he's just linked together 17 power boards.
So thank you very much for listening to Welcome to Patchwork this week. Just a reminder that you should follow us on social media if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube as well. And if you'd like to become a Patreon, that's how we keep this going. So you can go to patreon.com/welcome to patchwork. And I believe it's going to be time in a minute to go into the People's Patch, where we've scaled through all of your comments. We've scaled the mountain of YouTube chat. We're going to crack in.
So thanks for joining us. I've been Dion.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Josh.
Goodbye.
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 I've forgotten. We've only done 63 episodes. It's fine. Oh, God.
Dion forgot to say goodbye. But we're not really finishing up, Dion. I can appreciate why it didn't feel like it was the right moment to say goodbye. Because we're going on to the People's Patch. And during the week, we received a special message from someone who's just discovered Welcome to Patchwork with a talking point that she wanted to hear us discuss.
Yeah, so it's she says it's from Caitlin, and she says, Kia ora, bloody love you guys. Only gotten a bit through the isolation. And then I've got a question for you. So basically, she says it's lockdown, right? So when I'm at home, do I need to wear shoes around the house when I get changed in the morning, or do I need to wear slippers and socks? And so I think this is a really good question, because like when I'm working from home, I like to get prepared for the day, like I would when I'm leaving the house. But you are tempted to put on slippers, aren't you? Because they're very comfortable. And as a lot of you will know, my house is so cold. I live in such a cold house. If we've got any listeners from overseas that live in Canada during the
Wow.
I was going to say during the Ice Age or something.
Unbelievable. You're equating the temperature of your house to someone in Arctic conditions.
No, I was going to say they'd be furious at what I'm saying now.
No, but you don't understand. The problem, Dion, is in those colder places, they build their houses for the really cold weather. They're way warmer than us. We've got screwed because Australia gets so hot sometimes that your your Arctic conditions in your room is very reasonable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We got screwed. Temperatures don't even break 0, and we got screwed that it's too cold.
Actually, this reminds me, but I love my slippers so much. I went to about 6 months Queen Victoria Market. I reckon I tried on about 8 different pairs of slippers to try and get the ideal slippers. I bloody love them. They're so great. And there's nothing better when you're working from home with having a top half that looks professional and a bottom half that is so incredibly unprofessional.
Can't stand it. I can't stand this idea of, no, you weren't wearing pants during that call, were you? Just get dressed, you lazy idiot. I don't understand why people feel so much discomfort in what they wear on a daily basis. I can appreciate tracksuit pants and a nice comfy jumper being really comfy, but how uncomfortable are you in, a shirt and pants? Surely it's not that uncomfortable that you have to be completely pantsless as you work from home. Sorry, go on.
So this is the comment. So, but basically, I've got this pair of pants, and they look like jeans, but they're actually tracksuit pants, and so it's perfect. It's perfect conditions. They're so comfortable, and yet look like jeans.
Just to go back to the shoes and slippers and whatnot, I actually don't have slippers, so I'm not big on slippers. I'm big on socks though, and I'm high on socks, low on shoes. So. Shoes, I don't wear shoes around the house at the best of times, right? When I get in the house, the shoes are coming off. The only time I'm putting on shoes is if I'm going out. Actually, not even when I'm going outside. If I go out the back and make a dash, maybe to hang up the washing or something, it's all paved out the back. I'll just wreck my socks. Stupidly. No, but you know what's dumb? I'm like, it's okay. I'll just go on my tiptoes.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I was on your side right until you said you'll go outside with your socks on. Wet socks are
not wet.
Worst.
If
what do you mean
wet,
not wet?
Yeah, dry. I'm not wearing socks out in the wet, Christian. I'm not a maniac.
Do you know what I really like, though? Do you know what I love? I love being able to go on asphalt with barefoot. I've done it a few times, and I get why the hippies are doing it. It's a great feeling because you feel so. Then again, I saw a guy the other day going for a proper run along a trail barefoot. I was like, mate, just put on some shoes. It'll be so much more comfortable. You won't have glass in your feet when you come back.
What? Yeah. He's running barefoot.
He's running barefoot. He's running.
That's a thing, though, isn't it? People got into the idea of it being better ergonomically.
The worst. No, those stupid shoes with the toes in them. They're
aren't they shocking?
Oh, come on. Go easy on those shoes. I've never worn them, but I've considered it.
Do you know what?
Okay.
They look okay. I have a pair of socks that is they're like gloves, and they're like around each toe. They look creepy.
Sock are great. I've got a pair of those. They're great on a sock, not for a shoe though. It's limited to the sock.
Why are you drawing the line, Josh? What's wrong with you?
One's an indoor thing, one's an outdoor thing.
But you just said you'll have to go on your tippy toes to get outside.
Yeah, and I've got more dexterity because they're individually sleeved.
So why don't you just take the sock shoe off and reveal the other one underneath? You can have both on at the same time.
That's good.
And you still
the
have
toe socks and the toe
toes.
shoes. Yeah. That's a good plan. But to go back to Caitlin's original point, no, I will not dress up to the point of having shoes, but I do tend to put on like normal going out. So instead of just the tracky pants, I'll chuck on some jeans. I maybe chuck on a shirt.
Dion and Josh, we obviously had Josh your birthday on Friday. I mean, that's not very obvious to anyone. It was Josh's birthday on Friday, and he had a Zoom house party. And I thought that the best thing to do would be to put some shoes on because we're going to do some dancing.
Interesting.
We're going to get the feet tapping, and we certainly did tap our feet. But what was very strange was because I've been barefoot for 40 days now. I've barely put a shoe on. And if it is, it's a sandal. So having to put my nice shoes on for that, it felt like I had blocks of concrete on. Felt like the good old days in Sicily.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. People are reporting in isolation that they're getting dressed up and going on dates with their partners. Like they're getting all suited up, then going to the takeaway joint, coming back, kicking off the shoes again. Like nice. It's great. It makes it feel like an event. It's really beautiful. Have we got anything coming in the live chat? Has anyone offered any? Oh, we've got a happy birthday to Josh. That's great. One person. That's lovely. Wish you happy birthday. And we've got an emoji. It's beautiful.
There's a few leggings versus jeans. I've got comfortable jeans, but I have more uncomfortable jeans that look better that I will not wear around the house. They're tight, skinny jeans, and I haven't worn them since I've been in lockdown. So
I don't understand the hostility towards people that wear leggings. I don't own a pair, but I've always thought that they seem to be quite liberating for the people that wear them. They look really comfy.
Oh,
but it's Dion, you find particular offense about people wearing shorts over leggings, right?
A place to discuss. Patchworkers unite. Do men need to wear what are called modesty shorts when they're wearing tights when they go out? So if you're going for a walk in the morning and you pull on a pair of tights, do you need to wear modesty shorts? We're interested in your opinion because I hate having to wear those modesty shorts because it's so much more comfortable just wearing leggings. It's my one opportunity. And sure,
how tight are your modesty shorts?
They're not tight, but they've got like they're sports shorts and they've got the meshy inner that Christian would ordinarily cut out, but they're like I keep it in. So it means I've got 4 different layers. I'm wearing underpants as well.
Oh man, that's too many layers.
Here we go. Layers. The comments are flooding in. This is great.
Yeah, I don't want to see that junk. See, I'm of the not that I wear them.
John Ham me.
Look at this.
John Ham.
That's the thing.
I understand why they're worn. And maybe it's a cover for guys to be like, oh, good thing I'm wearing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think our answers would be very different if we wanted to show off what we had.
Yeah, that's great. So you have to wear the shorts.
I think the takeaway is John Ham can get away with just the leggings.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, if you've only got a shaving of the ham, maybe put some modesty shorts on. So you're asking for 200 grams of the honey leg. Not
do you know where this came from? This came from when I used to do athletics when I was younger. We used to like get up in the morning really early, used to wear running tights, and no one was wearing shorts over their running tights. Like athletes don't do it. Why isn't this the suburbs is my Olympics?
Because for athletes, it's about having the movement, the freedom to move, right?
Yeah.
You don't require that kind of mechanical motion. You don't need to have the full breadth of your movement.
The classic example of court is Matt Shervington.
Yeah.
What an Aussie icon.
Oh, wow.
The two of them.
2 icons there.
If we could... Oh, yeah, here we go.
John.
So here's some pictures of John Ham. You can see that bloody outline, can't you? That's
I'll tell
great.
you what. I'll tell you what, John Ham. I've got a message for you, John Ham. If you're sick of people talking about your penis, put it away, mate. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it looks like it is actually.
All right, I think we might move on to the next list of talking point, which we quite like, which was Sam's, which was: do you rinse your dishes before putting them in the dishwasher? I am very much of the mind, yes, give them a rinse into the sink, get all the big boys off, and then into the dishwasher they go.
Oh, yeah. Christian, I mean, is this you or me? This is you, I think.
So I have had a very recent relationship with dishwashers. Throughout my entire life, I never used them. We were a family that would, at the end of the meal, we'd bring our dishes up and wash them and dry them and put them away. So only very recently, since I've moved in with you, Josh, and we have our share house now, I've seen the dishwasher in action, and I'm learning as I'm going, and I see Josh rinsing the big boys off, and he's got a good technique, Dion. He gets it's a full lather, but a quick full lather, so you're not wasting water. But it does, because of the angle the water's hitting the plate, it gets the big boys off.
Oh, wow. That's very impressive. And Josh, what do you do? So you've got a plate and you're washing the plate. How much rinsing do you give to the back of the plate?
Nah, back gets nothing.
Really? Nothing?
Nah, nothing at all. So and then there's no scrubbing involved.
Word.
It's purely a water-based activity. It's just the running water getting the big boys off, and they fall into the sink, and then you go pop straight in. And it's not going to be spotless, right? It's just get rid of the big guys, because I don't want them clogging up the dishwasher. And I'm very firm on that.
Yeah, I kind of want them to give you an owner's manual with pictures of how big the boys can be on your dishes. Yeah. So like, hey, we'll take care of boys this big, but make sure that if you've got a chunk of boy right there, get rid of it. It's not gonna work.
Some people in the chat are saying, what about the scrape? just the scrape off. And I think the scrape is good if you've got a significant portion of your food that you haven't eaten. But generally, for me and my plate, it's just the leftovers, and there's not really. I just want to get it nice and off. And the scrape, it's too much time, too much effort.
Yeah, if you've started the scrape, you're halfway there to washing the dish. You may as well finish the job, right?
So I just had a realization, or maybe I didn't actually. Where is the food going off the plates when you put it in the dishwasher? Where does that go? No, but I've lifted up the filter. I did it a couple of weeks ago. There's nothing there, and I hadn't done it in a year. Where the hell is it going?
Maybe it disintegrates the food. Maybe that's that's how we'll reduce landfill.
Put everything in the dishwasher. That's
and
genius.
it just blows up.
But it's not linked. It's not linked to sewage, is it?
What do you mean?
Maybe it is. No.
It's water.
The
There's
dishwasher
water coming in.
The dishwasher might be linked to. Oh, here we go. Josh arcing up.
This is just another goes down the sink. Right, it goes down the sink. Surely it ties in with that, right?
Yeah, it's got to tie in. It's got to tie in. We're getting a lot of comments here. This is crazy. Oh yes, someone's mentioned. Here we go. I need your opinion. I saw a work colleague washing a fork once. They washed the top prongs, not the handle. Great.
The best part, he said, I'm not putting the handle in my mouth.
Josh, I reckon Josh, what do you think of this, Josh?
So if you're washing it, why do you need to rinse the whole handle? You just get your focus of the fork clean is the fork.
You've touched it. You've touched the fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think, but the thing is, well, maybe this day and age, probably you'd change your attitude. But generally, it's like the thing that's important to clean is the end of the fork. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, but forks, they're squirrely, aren't they? They've got a lot of different surface area that you might not find. Like a lot of the time, you think you've washed a fork, and then you turn it over, and there's a bit of that red tomato sauce just jammed in between the second and third prong.
Oh, here's a question for you. What about if you open up the cutlery drawer, you take out a fork, and it's got a little bit of crap caked onto it? What are you doing with that? Are you just nicking it off, or are you
straight in the dishwasher?
Straight back in the dishwasher.
Yep.
No way.
Round 2. You can get round 2.
Round 2, it's not if it hasn't got rid of the stuff on round 1, you've got to get manual. You got to put your hands into it.
No,
it needs a bit of elbow grease
because it got there. It got to that point, and now it needs to go through again to get rid of the rest. And I'm not taking the time to clean that. What about?
I think those are known as stubborn stains, Josh.
Yeah, they are. And you need a bit of nappy sand for it. What's the equivalent?
I was going to say the key, though, for the rinse is you've got to do it at the same time, right? You can't let it get caked on. You can't leave it there for a few hours. What's Joel say? If we've learned anything from COVID, it's that every square inch of the globe potentially carries deadly disease.
Yeah, that's
including
so
the
true.
handle. Including the handle. I'd like to jump to one more talking point, which I really liked, which was from Aaron Block. And Aaron says, group presents. Does a couple count as one, or are they each counted individually?
Fantastic.
So this is if you're going in on a group present together. If you're in a couple, do you only need to do the one contribution, or should you both act as individuals? What do you think, Neil?
Well, I reckon if you're going in for a present, here's what I think. If you spend $30 on a friend for a birthday, just a rudimentary birthday, they're turning 24, and you're spending $30, but your partner's coming with you as well, I reckon you combine 30 plus 30, and then I reckon you dock 10. So you do 50. Ooh. So it's not purely double, but you dock a little bit off.
So you're docking a third, right?
Is it a third?
That's what the maths would be.
Oh no, I'm docking. No, I'm docking a sixth off the total.
Oh, sure, understood. Yeah, that makes sense.
But Christian, what are you doing?
Well, I think that I want the couple to put equal money in because you're individuals at the end of the day, and especially I think that you need to put equal money in if your name's going in the card. If both of the names are going in the card, you're claiming equally as much credit as everyone else, but you're paying less for that credit.
Sorry, Josh.
I was going to say, Shaylee had a great point. If they count as one, they only get one gift back, which is a good point.
Wow.
Yeah. But my main driver is always going to be, well, how well does the partner know the gift the person's getting a gift?
Yeah,
if the partner doesn't really know them, I don't think there's any onus on them that they should be contributing an equal amount.
What?
Wow, that's a great point. That's a great point.
Hang on, they've been invited, but then they go along and they don't contribute money to the present.
That's actually the idea of that's what matters the most, right? If it's a wedding or something like that is like an event that has money been put into, and the gift is almost like repaying that, then I think absolutely both parties should contribute.
Can I make a distinction? If you're invited by name, you must put in equal value. If you are the +1, then Dion, your formula can apply. How does that sound?
Yeah, great. And Amanda's called it the Dion equation. So that's good. We've got the Roybus challenge and we've got the Dion equation. Alana's saying if the partner doesn't know them, the partner doesn't get the name on the card. Very interesting. So card writing with me and my girlfriend is I dictate and she writes because her handwriting's heaps better than mine. Absolutely. Like, why would I? Look at this.
And whose name goes first?
Look at this. This is awful. You can't even see it.
Ellen says, no, you chose to have the wedding. There is no consideration that you should be getting paid back for that, which is an interesting point. But then should you just not go to the wedding? Is that the flip side of that coin?
Oh, wow. This is a completely different discussion now, Josh.
Well, let's wind it back. So I think if it's just let's do it. It's a normal party and there's no expectation that a lot of money has been spent by the host. It's just say, hey guys, or I'm going to a bar. Maybe it's just at a bar, right? And so you're going along. I don't think the partner, unless they know them very well, let's say equally as well, needs to contribute anything at all. I think they can completely come fine. And if there's someone else organizing a group gift, they will ask the person who knows the most. And I think it's just a consideration that I guess I really do like yours, Dion. If the partner wants to and feels compelled to, they can. But I don't think there's any expectation that if they don't know them very well, that they should be doing that.
I just want to end with this, Josh, just to qualify what you said. If you're part of a group gift, you have to put in equal value to the other people in that group gift.
Absolutely.
You cannot say, I'm only in for 15 guys. That's not a thing.
Josh?
Depends how big
Here he goes. Like, I knew it.
No, okay. You can't go down, but people can choose to go up.
No. But what do they get? What do they get? More room on the card, or more
people who are more generous than me? That's
right. So you have to be the first one to get in there. That's $30 each.
Actually, no, Dion. That is a good point. Proportionate. What it is, right? It is just offered, hey guys, if you want to put in any amount of money, go for it. And then once the person organizing it gets all the money in, they resize your signature on the card to be proportionate to how much money you put in.
Amazing if that was possible.
It'll be like Christian halfway atop and then written in the corners, Josh.
Yeah. Great.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up. Really want to appreciate everyone for joining us today. It's been a wild ride. Just a reminder, if you weren't here at the start, that we are actually going to be live streaming all of our podcasts for the foreseeable future. Thursday nights at 8 p.m. You'll be able to tune into us. It'll be every fortnight, and of course they'll be recorded and put on your in your podcast apps. And remember, if you sign up to be a Patreon as well, you'll continue getting the bonus patches. But we're also doing a Zoom call with all Patreons. So I'm going to paste our Patreon link in the YouTube live chat. If you want to be a part of that, we would love to have you. A little as a couple of bucks a month. And yes, Christian.
I think it's also very important for everyone to recognize that we are welcome to Patchwork. We're obviously doing the content here, but all the visuals are being done by our producer at the moment, Kinetic Screen. And they're putting a lot of effort in for us. It's made it way easier, and you can see how high the production value is. So jump on their website because they can help you out with your live streams and other creative goods.
And Kinetic Screen, just for those who know Game Boys as well, takes care of all the tech for Game Boys. So very talented. And yeah, if you want to use them for production values as high as this, which I think was some of the feedback we got after the first show. And I think it looks great. So thanks very much to Kinetic Screen for that.
Awesome. Yeah, we might not get that feedback because of what happened about 5 minutes in and when it dropped, but that's all right. Kinetic Screen is always working on their production value. So just a reminder, there we go. Just a reminder that we're going to be doing live patches. So it's really, really exciting. So head to our Patreon and you'll also be able to jump on Zoom calls with us every month. But thanks so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Tell your friends. They can obviously watch this and you can share this link and they can watch it at a later time. But yeah, thank you so much. And we will all see you very soon. We'll see you next week when our patch is released next Wednesday.
Thanks, guys.